Hi, my name is Robert Jordan. I go by That Guy Who Spins on social media, and I'm here to answer some questions. Number one, how did you discover color guard? I actually discovered color guard just being in marching band, and I did it all through elementary, middle school, and high school. And then around my sophomore year or so, I started taking an interest in it and would see the cool things they did and everything. And then going into my junior year, my old instructor asked me if I would be interested in playing like the male antagonist part because they had not had a male member in the guard at that time. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm actually pretty interested in color guard. It looks pretty cool. I'd love to do it. So I tried it my junior year, fell in love with it. And then now I've been doing it for like 8 or 9 years. Number two, how do you get inspiration for choreography? I actually watch a massive amount of color guard, but I also watch a lot of dance. And I think in the creative art field, there is ways to pull inspiration from a lot of different places. Like just because we're in color guard doesn't mean we only have to pull inspiration from color guard. You can go into the dance world, you can go into gymnastics, you can go into baton, you can go into all these different things and avenues that can offer some new level or some new variety into what you're already doing. And that's where a couple weeks ago I was like wanting to learn fishtails because that's such an interesting skill to be able to balance things on your wrist and understand the weight of the equipment enough to manipulate it around like that. And that's basically where a lot of inspiration comes from, is just looking, finding a new skill from somewhere, whether it's like a double turn, whether it's a fishtail, whether it's like a line behind the back catch. Like I do all those things and learn all those things and then try to create as much variety from that one thing that I learned as possible. So I'll create an entire piece around a fishtail. And that fishtail is only 4 seconds, but now I took this skill and tried to apply it in different places throughout the piece, and now it came to 50 seconds. And yeah, that's just where a lot of my inspiration comes from, is just watching other artistic fields and be like, ooh, how can I incorporate that into color art? Number three, what are some of your go-to artists to choreograph to? I really like Billie Eilish, Lizzo, Bruno Mars, Keith Kenneth, OK Go, Rye. All of these artists I really enjoy listening to their music because there's so many things in them and they're kind of dense a little bit to where you can pick up just so many things. And it's honestly challenging to try to pick up like 18 syllables in like 8 counts, but you challenge yourself, and that's what makes me go back to the artist over and over again, is that I know each song is going to have something new to challenge me, some new sound that I need to pick up on like 16 or something I need to pick up on 14. And I go into these songs wanting that challenge. So especially Billie Eilish, I've been doing a lot of her songs recently just because there's so many things in them that attract me to the song. Number four, have you spun in DCI or WGI? Yes, I've actually spun in both. I did Gold Drum Corps right out of high school in 2013, and then I did Blue Devils 2014 through 2016, and then I did Fantasia Winter Guard 2014 and 2015. And all the experiences were amazing. I had so much fun. I don't think I ever had like a terrible year where I like hated my time or didn't want to be there. Every single year I was super excited and had so much fun with everyone that I was marching with. Number five, do you have any hobbies outside of Guard? Yes, I write and produce music outside of Color Guard. I also do Winter Guard soundtracks in the Color Guard world, and people will contact me and ask me to do their winter soundtracks and stuff, and I do that. But I also do like remixes and original productions and everything. Nothing big or anything. Have a couple things like on Spotify and iTunes, and you can see like some of my stuff is in like the That Guy Who Spins playlist and everything on Spotify. But aside from music, I really like technology, and I really like electronics and stuff like that. So I'm always messing with things and buying new things and trying out things, going to conventions, stuff like that. But yeah, other than color guard, music and technology would be my two other like main things that I do in my life. Number six, what performance, teams, and people inspire you? I wouldn't really say I have a performance or team that inspires me specifically. I just watch a lot of color guard, like I said, and all of it kind of inspires me. But people-wise, I really like Scott Chandler and the way he creates choreography and manipulates the equipment around his body. I really love Mario Ramirez, super crazy tricks, Michael Shapiro, all of his 45s, and the way that his tosses really come out of nowhere. Like he does something, all of a sudden the rifle's 10 feet in the air and you don't know how it got there. And Michael Lentz, really love, so interesting the way he's crafted and just created his own style to where looking at choreography, that's Michael Lentz choreography. And that's so inspiring to me. And all four of those people, like, watching their choreography, that's a Michael Shapiro phrase. That's a Scott Chandler phrase. Like, they have coined their style in such a way where there's just no way to not know that it's them. And then I feel like from a design standpoint, Michael Gaines would be my biggest inspiration because he just makes his things and his products so cohesive and so like intricate to where you feel like you're watching like, I don't know, like an entire just production, like an entire stage show. And sometimes he does it simply and sometimes he does it incredibly intricately, and every single time it works. And his stuff is just so cohesive to me where I find myself getting inspired any single time I watch one of his shows. And then I go back to my schools and I take like some of that inspiration on how to make my show cohesive. Like, how do I make these parts interact with each other properly? And you can get all those things just from watching his shows. Like, you can kind of see where his mind was at when he was creating, or where you think it was at when he was creating. But yeah, so he would be my biggest inspiration, like design wise. And I've just heard he's a super nice man. I've never met him personally. I just heard he's a great dude. So like, just to be so highly regarded in the activity and still have like such a nice personality, and to just know like he's such a people person is pretty cool. Number 7, how do you manage your account and real life? I feel like it's kind of easier for me because my real life is color guard. Like, I don't have an office job. I don't have like a retail job. I just teach color guard and like travel around and do choreography and stuff. So I feel like it's a little bit easier for me to manage my time. At the beginning, it was super hard because I would just try to overload myself. I would try to do like 5 pieces a month, or I would try to do 6 pieces a month, but it takes me a couple days to write a piece because I only have like 10, 20-minute increments each time to like write a quick 8 counts, write a quick 16 counts. But these pieces are like 10, 12, 16 long phrases. So after I've like started getting used to it, I started making production schedules. And like, I know in February that I'm gonna have this, this, and this. I know in March I'm gonna have this, this, and this. And that's what's made me manage my time better, is that I just stick to that schedule. If I only have 30 minutes to work on this rifle piece, I'm only gonna take 30 minutes. I'm not gonna take the whole day. I'm not gonna take an hour or two because I have other things in my life that I have to focus on, like my schools and designing and choreographing for other people. So once I just learned to like manage my time properly and create a schedule for myself, it got so much easier and so much clearer. Okay, number 8, any tips on performing? Yes, there's a massive amount of tips that I can give you for performing, but you just have to get used to it. That's the biggest one. I think performers forget that they don't only get nervous in front of audience members. Like, as a performer, you most likely get nervous in front of people that don't know what color guard is, like when you're spinning, and you most likely get nervous like in front of people that you care about when you're doing something like full out and you're not just messing around. So I think one of the biggest things I always tell my students to do is find as many people as possible and perform for them. Go to your family, bring your rifle or your saber or your flag home, and if you're having like a family event or a family thing or something, ask your family to go in the backyard, put on your music, and do a standstill for them. You're gonna be nervous. You know what I mean? You don't want to mess up. Even though they're your family, you still don't want to mess up. And treat it like you're in an actual show. And do this as many times as possible. Perform for your other members, perform for your friends, perform for your parents, just anyone you can get in front of, perform for. And I think you'll find yourself getting more used to performing over time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, number 9. How did you become a coach? I actually became a coach straight from high school. My instructor that taught me saw that I had a massive interest in color guard and was like, hey, you want to teach? And I was interested. So he brought me to that school, well, I was already at that school, but hired me, and then brought me to another one of his schools the next year. And then from there, a job opened up at Valley View High School. So then I took it and then started branching off on my own. He did help me get the job and everything though. And he's the one who like sent me the original email and stuff. But yeah, so my old instructor's name's Robert Rodriguez. I teach with him at Etowanda. He is honestly the biggest reason that I teach so many schools and I'm doing so many things, because he really helped me get my foot in the door. And not only did he help me get my foot in the door, but he literally mentored me for like 2 or 3 years on what to do, on who to talk to, on how to present yourself, on how to price things, just everything to help me know my worth and know where to go. He helped me with. And yeah, I honestly would not be doing any of the stuff I'm doing or be anywhere without like his knowledge, because I just had no idea how to start. And that's honestly one of my biggest things too for people that do want to coach. You need to start making connections as quickly as possible. And it's not just connections like, oh, just say hi to someone on Instagram. Like, no, like talk to your instructor. Find out if there's jobs hiring in the area, like when you graduate. Find out if they teach other schools they'd be interested in bringing you to. Even if you volunteer your first year, you're still getting your foot in the door and you're getting experience to where when you are finally ready to start getting paid, you now have something to back up why you should be paid for this. Because it's really hard for a band director to just trust a kid right out of high school. You did color guard, you liked color guard, but do you know how to teach? So taking that first year to kind of volunteer and kind of see if you can afford it is an amazing opportunity. Even if you can just do one day at a school and like have a full-time or part-time job somewhere else and do one day a week, even that is enough to like start gaining experience and become okay. And the last question was to describe some joys and challenges of being a coach. I would say my biggest joy is watching a student get something for the first time. Whether they're working for like hours, days, weeks on rifle, and all of a sudden they have their triple, or they're working for weeks on flag and we're helping them and giving them advice and stuff, and then they get their flag double. And there's just something about those moments for me that are so inspiring as a coach and as a teacher. And I seek out those moments and aim to try to teach my kids as much as possible. And it creates those joyous moments for me. And then aside from like the like emotional aspect of it, I really like creating and writing and being able to design my own shows and stuff and just put a product out there for people to see. And then the challenges of coaching would definitely be having to watch my students graduate, because you watch these kids become confident performers, confident with themselves, have better attitudes, create better like lives for themselves. You invest so much time and energy into them to where you see them every single week and every single day. And you then have to watch them graduate. You have to watch them go off and live their own lives, which is amazing that they're able to do that. But there's a little bit of sadness that comes with it as a coach too, just naturally. And that's why the end of May and beginning of June are always like the hardest weeks for me personally every year, because you teach 200 kids, but now all of a sudden you don't have 30 of those 200. And they just go on and live their own lives, and now new people come in, which is amazing because now you get to create experiences with them too. But it's definitely a challenge having to watch all of my seniors graduate, or even people that are interested in doing it multiple years leave. And then on the logistical side of things, having to sign up for shows, dealing with money and parents when there's issues and just stuff like that is all very time consuming and sometimes stressful as a coach, but it's all definitely worth it. But yeah, there's definitely challenges and joys that come with being a coach, but I would say the joy 100% outweighs the challenges, at least from where I'm coming from too. I know coaching is a lot harder in different states where you don't have support from the school district or support from the parents and stuff. I'm sure is going to attribute to having a harder or worse time as a coach too. But yeah, those would be my biggest joys and challenges. And yeah, thank you for listening. I think that's all the questions for now. I hope that gave a little more insight into who I am and what I'm trying to do and be. But yeah, my name's Robert. Bye.